This presentation is for educational purposes only, and the opinions expressed are those of the presenter only. All trades presented are not traded in a live account and should be considered hypothetical.
Hello everybody and welcome to Hawkeye FX with your host Marcus Toombs on the 29th of September 2017. Now in this video I just thought I'd briefly catch up with the US dollar trade that we've been monitoring over the last 2 days. If you've seen my blog from Wednesday and Thursday. Now in my blog on Wednesday you'll know that the US dollar had 3 solid days of strong trend, which had brought it up to the overbought territory on the daily 724.18 240 time frame, and then we predicted that on Thursday we'd have a pullback in the trend. This indeed did come through here, and you can see on the 120 the cyan color, which is the US dollar, went all the way down to oversold territory, which was our pullback in the trends. Then yesterday in my blog I predicted from the fat man here that the US dollar would strengthen today and that we would come back up in the charts and test the previous day's highs or lows. Okay, so let's see how we got on today. Okay, from the 120 minute fat man here, you can see the US dollar did indeed turn up and strengthen throughout today. And we will see in the charts how it got on against the other currency pairs. You can see here we expect it to have made good ground against the pound, which turned down, and the Canadian, which also turned down, but not so well against the euro, which instead strengthened itself throughout today and was above the blue cyan line of the US dollar. Okay, so looking at the 120 minute charts here, we'll go through these individually. You can see the US dollar against the euro strengthened, and then this was the pullback on Thursday here, and then up to the yellow line. Then we're expecting this price to pull back, which it did, and it came down so far as the 61% line, but then the euro came into some strength, and we see this came up and broke the previous day's high. This has now put in a series of higher lows and a series of higher highs, so we can now consider this currency to have turned and now being in an uptrend. Now against the pound today, which was weak, we can see the US dollar strengthened here, had the pullback here on Thursday, and then as predicted it came back down and retested the low from Thursday here. Has now put in a double bottom, as we can see here. Now should this price come up next week and break this yellow line here to make a higher high, then we can consider this to become into the uptrend. However, if we do come next week and break the red line, then we will continue in the downtrend. Now with the yen, the US dollar goes up in the charts to strengthen. So you can see this was the run into Wednesday evening. This was the strengthening on Thursday. Now we're expecting a pullback today to come and retest this red line here of the previous day's highs. Now this pullback did come up to the 50% retracement of this previous range. We then came down to retest yesterday's lows, as you can see here, and then pull back into this range. On next week, if we break the yellow line, then we will go into the downtrend. However, if this comes up and breaks this red line, then we'll be still in the uptrend. Now with the Canadian dollar, we again go up in the charts for US dollar strength. So you can see the US dollar strengthening here. This was the pullback on Thursday. Then we're expecting this to come up and retest this previous high, which it did in this currency. We've now put in a double top here. We didn't get a close above the previous high and have since pulled back to the retracement zone of 50 here. So next week, if we come down and break the yellow line here, we'll go into the downtrend. But if we get a close above this red line, we will continue in the uptrend. Now with the Aussie dollar, you can see we go down in the charts for US dollar strength. And this was through to Wednesday night. This was the pullback we discussed up to the yellow line here. And then today we came back to test the red line here. We got so far as the 38.2 retracement here. And we're still in this congestion zone now. If we see a break of this yellow line next week, then we'll be in the uptrend. We're close below the red line. We'll be continuing in the downtrend. And finally here against the New Zealand dollar, again we go down for US dollar strength, and this was the run into Wednesday. We had this pullback here on the Thursday, and then today this retracement here came as low as a 61.8% retracement. We came up and retested this previous high here and had a close at that level. I consider this a double top and then a pullback here. We do need to come back up and close above this line here to be considered into the uptrend, or again a close below the red line down here to be going down into the downtrend again. Okay, as usual, I hope this analysis has helped in your trading, and I wish you a very good weekend.